with Messy on Purpose, and I have Michelle back with me today. And instead of talking about the homestead life, we're going to dive into her business and what systems mean to her. And I don't think it's necessary to do a whole intro, but we didn't really talk about your business last time. So tell us a little bit about what your business is.
So I'm a certified systems business coach. Basically, I help small business owners that are in the too successful to quit, but too overwhelmed to enjoy it phase of business. And when I say systems, I don't mean software systems or anything fancy and orchestrated. It simply means the way something happens within your business. And then we just work on bringing the awareness around that to make sure it's happening in a consistent, constructive way and not all haphazardly taking up more of your time than it needs to.
What's like an example of a business that you've worked with and like the systems that you've helped put in place?
So it's fun because I get to work across a variety of industries, it's so fun to like learn things I haven't learned before across these industries. And every business is so unique, but all of their struggles follow the same themes. So administrative systems are usually a big one because we don't go into business because we're good at business. Like we go into business because we either are passionate about something or we have like a bankable skill or we're choosing to be unemployable. That's where I fall. Well, I guess my skill's bankable, but I choose to be unemployable on purpose. But that doesn't mean that we're good at business. But yet we go into it thinking everyone's going to expect us to be good at business when very few of us have a business background. So admin systems can go out of control real quick. And especially in like the busy first few years of growing a business, finances are intimidating. And so many small business owners can hide from their numbers or they scrimp and save where they can, maybe not paying themselves. So their financial records don't actually accurately reflect what's actually going on in the business because in any other workplace, if you don't pay your star employee, they don't come to work. So if you're not paying yourself, you're not reflecting what the actual business is doing.
How often do you see that happen?
Oh, far too often. We work way too hard to not be compensated for what we do. A couple weeks ago, I actually looked up the definition of entrepreneur, and of course, I don't have it handy, but in the actual definition, it talks about taking more risk. Like taking risks is in the definition of being an entrepreneur. And so like it's in the nature of it that makes it harder. You need to be compensated for taking that risk. And if you're not compensating yourself, it's a really expensive hobby that's taking your time.
When it comes to like the admin side, right? That people struggle with, what are like some of the things that you have to like kind of help them do to improve that part? Because if you don't have the basic little things, because it doesn't seem like a lot, but it is like the
Mhm.
foundation to keep everything else flowing, right? So it all starts there. So what kind of things do you do to help them get that into place?
I figure out where they are struggling or drowning. And a lot of time that is a super messy Google Drive. I cannot tell you the number of clients that are just like, my Google Drive is atrocious. And so we have to dive into like what their major focuses are and how they want it structured in the best way. And so we kind of build them like a Google Drive roadmap. And it takes time. Like that's not something you sit down and do in an afternoon. Like it takes time. So, and then they chip away at it and it gets better and better as they go. And that also helps them to continue with it because they keep seeing it improving. But like file organization is always one of the major ones. And then it's like the little nitpicky things, like sending the same email every time, but not having a template because you're just hand bombing it. Or having a different way of invoicing things each time you do it. It's like, oh, I do this and this. Oh, but did I do this? It's literally just bringing awareness around what is the purpose of the system and what are the steps to it? And can we make it so simple that a 14-year-old that does not care can read and follow this and get everything done correctly? Uh, And that's it. I love crossing things off a list. I basically help them build checklists for everything. So when they want to outsource it or they don't want to be doing these specific tasks themselves, they can give it to a VA, they can give it to a team member, they can remove themselves from the minutia of the things and then go back to building the business or bringing in new business or being the leader of the business instead of being the administrator of the business. It's all necessary, but when you're the CEO, your time is not best spent on admin.
Is it hard? So if they don't have like a, do you ever work with a business that doesn't have like a big team? They don't really have somebody in place for that and like getting them to spend the extra money to hire someone for that position?
So yes, I worked with like solopreneurs, service providers, all the way up to small teams. I don't go too big. I like the small teams. But yes, because when you're one person and you have to do all the things, it's a lot. So we simplify the things that you know are no longer going to be on your plate. And again, coming back to the taking risks in business, it's not always you have to spend money to make money, but if outsourcing 20 hours of your time costs, I'm going to make up numbers, $1,000, but in that 20 hours, you can generate $5,000. It makes perfect sense. There's growing pains with it. Like, yes, you're going to bring on, say, a VA and get them up to speed. It takes some time. The better your systems are, the shorter that time. But that does take time. And so, yes, you might not see that return on investment immediately, but once they get in and your time has come back to your plate and you get to put it where it needs to be, it ends up paying for itself really quickly.
Have you ever had an owner who does that's like they like that work, so they don't want to give it up, or they have like an attachment to it of some kind because they're like controlling with like everything that's moving or anything like that?
Oh, yes. These are our babies. We like the blood, sweat, and tears that go into building a business. And I think the hardest part about the letting go and the outsourcing is the fact that you have to accept the fact that no one is going to love your business or care for your business the way you do. And that's why so many hold on so tight because it's like they're not going to give it the care and attention I do. And that it's just, it's a nature of business. It's hard. The clearer your expectations and systems that are in place, the closer they'll be to your standards. The whole point of building really robust systems is to make sure things are being done to a specific standard every time. And while they might not go that tiny extra bit or that lot extra bit that you go for this, there's also like that value cap where you start over delivering. And at a certain point, you're giving so much value, they're not even absorbing the value because they don't even understand how valuable the extra pieces are. So you're pouring into this. They're getting all the benefit, but they are not even understanding like the volume of additional benefit coming. So it's wrapping your head around what is the standard we want to hold and what is good enough. Because nothing's ever going to be perfect. But if we can define good enough and be okay with what that is, because it's up to at least the standards you're willing to accept, that's all we can do. Like if, or else you're going to be the bottleneck forever. You're never going to be able to detach yourself from the business. You're never going to be able to enjoy the freedom and flexibility that you can build in. You'll have a job. You will have a job that you're expected to go to, and you will be your own worst boss in the job you created for yourself.
Have you had any experience with those type of people where it was just they were a bottleneck and there was no getting through to them?
Surprisingly, no. Like with no getting through to them, sometimes it can be tough and they'll be holding on. It's this is where the coaching comes in. It's digging into like what are they holding on to? It's not just because they're type A. It's not this like what is the piece that they are concerned about? Like what is at the root of that I must be the bottleneck? And because they're voluntarily coming to me to help their business, we can usually get through that. Even if there's hesitation, I find that they do come around. And then some of them are just like, when you point out the bottleneck, it's just, you see the light bulb go on and they're like, oh, I can do that? And it's like, well, yeah, it's your business. You can do whatever you want as you're not breaking the law and making sure your taxes are paid.
Um, when it comes to like coaching, so you kind of dive into like their mindset a little bit more, right? Like
Mhm,
you're kind of changing and shifting how they think and feel about the business. Um,
mhm.
do you ever come across, so this is just a question from a podcast I actually just did. She was talking about like basically finding a different type of client and getting what the worth is out of your service that you're providing. So like making sure you're charging the right amount, right? And then I asked if you ever come across like issues with like family and friends who kind of take advantage of the owner and it's affecting the business. So is there anything within like the systems and things, maybe family members helping out or something along those lines that affect a business that you see?
Oh, yeah. Family and friends have big effects on businesses. Um, you see a lot of people hiring family and friends, even if they're not the most suited for the position, um, which leads to sometimes some entitlements, some resentments, and it can really negatively affect relationships because it's like, well, they're family. Okay, but this is your business and your livelihood. And so if they're family and they are qualified for the position, it comes down to, again, the systems. You wouldn't just put some Joe Blow in there and be like, hey, do what you think you should do. You're going to have a job description with expectations. You're going to have compensation laid out. It is either official or it's going to be a problem. And when it comes to like family and friends taking advantage, that makes me sad because we work so hard in our businesses. And one of the best pieces of advice I got from a friend of mine who's a few years ahead of me in business when I first started, she's like, the best advice I ever got when I first started was do not discount yourself. If they're really your friends, they will pay full price. And I was like, okay. And I kind of mulled that over. I was at the very beginning. So I like extrapolate that to now and I stand by that. At the beginning, it was like, well, I need cash flow. So money, please. I will take whatever comes my way. But now it's like, I, yeah, my friends support my business. My friends and my family's super supportive. But like I have friends that pay full price for my services. And I pay full price for theirs because it's funny, we just trade money back and forth to help each other, but it works. And um, they should be the ones really supporting. And they support doesn't look like monetary support, just like support, helping a small business, commenting, liking, sharing, word of mouth. It doesn't have to be buy my services and support me. There's so many ways to support someone, but um, business is hard enough. No one should be taking advantage of us.
Well, and I think too, like actually, now that you brought up the share, review, all of that stuff, it's really hard to get people to do those things. It's actually harder than
Mhm.
you think.
It is. No one likes to do it. Um, People are so quick to complain about the bad things, but they're not going to take 5 minutes to like toot someone's horn over something great or just good. And, um, but then there's tactics for that. Like a friend of mine wanted to get a bunch of Google reviews before she went through a rebrand. And so she held a promotion and she gave away NHL tickets and you got extra entries if it was a video testimonial and all this stuff. She cleaned up. She got all the stuff she needed. And she said it was the best way to get those going quickly. Everyone loves a little carrot on a stick, right?
That works a lot. You see a lot of people doing like giveaways and things like that, but you
Hmm.
have to share, comment,
Hmm.
or something along those lines.
Yeah.
It actually works really well. I've seen people do it. They tag you and stuff. Like I've had people like tag me because they're trying to win.
Right. It's like, ooh, what are we winning? I want some.
I'm like,
But
huh,
it totally
okay.
works.
Yeah.
And like reviews help small businesses so much, especially like Google reviews on the business. Like it all helps.
I try to like it. We have like a lot of restaurants and stuff that like we stick to. They're just so freaking good. Uh, and so we're like amazing. And then I'll see like I don't even think about like reviewing half the time. You don't really think about it, right? You just go, you eat, and you leave.
Hmm.
But like they'll have the little like review like QR code or like leave us a review or something. And then that will like trigger it. And then I'll leave a review. I'll be like, oh, yeah, of course. I've had the
Hmm.
same waitress at this place for, every single time we've came and it's been absolutely amazing. Of course I need to review. And so I do. But like it's so hard. Or like,
Hmm.
I hate that like people focus on the negative reviews. It's always like, oh, whining this, whining that. And so I was talking to my new hairstylist, and she was like, we were talking about reviews and stuff, and we were kind of talking about that. And she was talking about like one bad review she got. So when I left, that was the first thing I did was send a good review.
Hmm. And that's where having a great presence as a small business can really come back to help you with that. Um, I helped a client develop, this was before I was heavy into the coaching. I was still freelance writing business plans because that's where I got my start when I quit my real job. So I helped her develop a business plan to get financing to open a romance bookstore. And coolest
Very
project
cool.
to work on. She was so awesome. And then not long after she opened, she had someone, and I think it was like an estranged family member that's just one of those people that has to ruin your day, leave a really
Yeah.
nasty review. But she had built such community so quickly that the comments and the flood of 5-star reviews that came in immediately after to nullify it was incredible. It was honestly, as much as it probably was a big blow to her when she saw it, within a week, it was so far buried and she had such a high rating that it was like that might have been the best thing that happened to her Google listing.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's like almost like a
Yeah.
triggering post. You know what I mean? Where you get like all those comments and it like blows up your like algorithm. It's like the same
Hmm.
thing. It just like it was an
Yeah.
overwhelming load of positivity,
Yeah,
which
it was gorgeous to see because she's such an amazing person and what she's doing is so cool. And it was just one shitty person raining on her parade.
it sounds like a really cool business. So like what was the I like what did she start with like with the idea and what did it build into? Because usually it just kind of starts as like an idea, right? But like what did she turn that into?
Well, she wanted to leave I want to say it was like this was a few years ago now. It was a 15-ish year career in social work. She was just burning out. She had young kids. Um, you go into social work because you're a bleeding heart. Like there's caregiver burnout on that side, and she loves reading. She reads like multiple books a week. I don't know how she can mom and business and do all that, but she does. And so she opened up the romance bookstore in this beautiful location in this like funky college-ish neighborhood. It's in Saskatchewan, and she built an amazing safe place for like all are welcome there, and she collaborated with a bunch of other businesses on that street. She does fun events and like book launch nights and all of that stuff, and she's going strong, and I'm so proud of her because she initially got turned down once or twice for funding and with like brutal feedback. Like I was mad. I was like, no, no, no. I've been doing business plans long enough to know we can get far more than what we asked for with far less than what we gave them. Like this is fishy. And but she didn't give up and she turned around and she found her financing source, got everything she needed, and then she launched. And after the first place shut her down, and it was like a women's organization, so it was really disappointing to see. um her and I got together around her 1 year anniversary mark, and she showed me her revenues and we compared them to her original projections. She crushed anything we had planned for. It was, I thought my heart was going to explode because I saw how hard she was working. I was following her Instagram, like she was doing all the things, she was just killing it. And then to see that they told her print books are a dying industry, we're not touching it, to have her crush what we like put out as an ambitious projection for the business plan, it was just like, that was so cool. Like it blew away even my expectations.
That's amazing. And they told, so they basically wouldn't give her funding because they said it was a
Mm-mm.
dying industry.
Yeah, because with like Kindles, I guess. I don't know, but and the funny thing is at the time, romance bookstores were popping up in major centers across Canada anyways, like Vancouver got one. Shortly after this one opened, Edmonton got one. There was already one or two in Toronto. So it wasn't like unheard of. There wasn't a lot, but they literally were just like, no, it's too big of a risk. And so I've done so many business plans. Like I took it and I took it to someone I trust and I was like, can you review this and see if I have like grossly misunderstood something? Because I don't understand. And it came back, everyone else thought it was solid too. And so we tried again and then it went through no problem. But it definitely, it took the wind out of my sails. She handled it probably better than I did. I was mad.
You took it personal.
I do. That's why I don't do grant writing anymore.
Well, what's crazy too is like I know that I'm not a part of one, but like I know there's a lot of like women like groups like book club, but like it's like
Hmm.
romance. I don't know, I forgot what they call it. I don't know. I learned about it at a wedding. So, but it's like all those romance books and the like
Hmm.
sexualized books and all. I guess that's what they told me. So,
Basically, and it's such a wide range now. Like there's so many genres, and I didn't have a clue, but there's so many genres to it now too. So and that's the cool thing. Now there's so many indie authors that there's literally something for anyone in there. For even the people that don't want the super spicy stuff, there's light fluff in there too. That's not like clutching your pearls type thing. Like
yeah, I heard some of those books are very graphic.
yeah, I haven't dabbled too much. I'm a podcast girl. I'm busy out here. I don't get to read anywhere near as much as I want.
I like reading like books that like teach me stuff, so not so much of like the fantasy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I do
So,
love some personal development. And actually that's what I tell a lot of people, like business development is personal development. You can't have one without the other. And so if you think you're just going to read all the business books and not read all the books to get over yourself and get out of your own way, and because we are always the problem. So if you
always.
can't bring awareness to that, you can't get past it, and your business will not go as far or as fast as you want it to. Like you cannot have one without the other. And people hate it
No.
when I say that. They're like, "But I want to work on the business." Yep, work on you first.
Well, and what they don't see is how much more productive you are after you work on yourself and have all of that
Yeah.
dialed in because you can put everything into something when you're all put together, but when you're in pieces,
Hmm.
there's not much that you can spread out.
Exactly. And then if you're feeling in pieces on one side, it's going to come through on the other side. Like
Yeah.
you can't. You are human. And it's yeah, it just has to go, and it doesn't have to be perfect all the way through. It's not like you have to be a specific person before you go into business, but you have to be willing to stare your bullshit in the face and be like, okay, this is a weak spot. So I either need to address this or I need to put support there. And the faster you can realize that, the faster you can support yourself, and it's not a problem anymore.
It's literally
And I
just
say it like
another
that.
system.
It is. And I say it like that because we, again, we don't go into business because we're good at business, but when we're not good at some of the business things, it's like, well, I can't tell anyone. Like, what are they going to think of? Like, I'm a business owner. Like, I should know this, but says who? Like, it's okay to be new at something. And, but they tend to suffer in silence because, well, I don't want to tell anyone I don't know what I'm doing. I still
Yeah.
don't know what I'm doing a lot of the time. Google gets a workout in my life. Like, we're all just doing the best we can. And
Well,
it's
and we got to
okay
be
to be
open to
figuring it out as you
learn.
go. Yeah.
If you're not open, so if you know everything, that means that's you're telling me that you're not open to learn. And if you're not open to learn, you're not open to grow, which means that your business is going to stay the same or fail.
Hmm. And your brain is going to curl up and die because if you don't use it, you lose
It,
it.
yeah, and then you just lose it, and then now what?
Yeah, exactly.
I just couldn't imagine. So what's one of your favorite or most recommended like self-help books?
Ooh. Oh, there's so many.
I know I always have a hard time with this too. So.
Right now I'm going through The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. Because again, I'm the problem. Every week I come to my mastermind. What are our obstacles? Me. I'm the problem. How do I remove that? So I'm loving that right now. But when it comes like overall, the ones that I've really leaned on, Tiny Experiments was an amazing book. It really helps take a look at the different things you're trying within your business as tiny experiments. So it takes the pressure off. It's like, well, I'm just going to try this. Like, what's the worst that could happen? It flops and I do something different next time. So that was like, it was almost like the permission to have a little bit more creativity and like fun within the business. Um, and then I read The 12-Week Year a number of years ago, and that changed how I structure my business. Now I plan everything in quarters, which works well with the farm because everything is seasonal anyway. So I quarterly plan for my business and I quarterly plan for the farm. And it works. But yeah, those are like my cores of what's really shaping what I'm doing right now. But yeah, 12-Week Year has been, I think it's 3 years now I've been planning in quarters, and it's just been incredible.
Are these ones that you recommend to like your clients too?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And actually like the 12-week year, um, I'm now doing quarterly workshops. And not even workshops. I hate the word workshop. I'm not teaching anything. It's like I need to do my quarterly plan. If you're a business owner, you should probably have one. Come plan with me. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna build out our quarterly plans, and everyone's gonna walk away knowing exactly what their priorities are for the quarter. Um, because that way I get mine done and then they all get theirs done and everyone's happy. And then I get to watch clients and friends like really moving quickly towards their goals because it's so strategic and outlined.
Well, that's kind of cool too to do it as a group because then you might get like an outside perspective that kind of grows a small idea that
Mm,
you had too, or even like maybe you have an idea but you don't know what to do with it for that quarter.
yes, I love that group aspect of it because it almost becomes like a mini mastermind because someone else has gone through something similar or exactly the same. We're in business. So someone's going to have a different perspective on it or learned experience that can be really beneficial to hear about.
And what's cool too is although these are clients that are like doing this with you, it doesn't mean you can't learn from them too.
Exactly. And that's the best part. I learned so much from like digging into these other industries and just allowing them to build their business in a way that works for them. Like so many business coaches have like specific structures that you follow, which is, and they work. Don't get me wrong. Like the EOS system, it's fantastic. But it's very, this is what you do. This is the structure. This is the order you do it in. Business isn't linear. So like with my clients, I can be like, what's going on? Like I work with two different kinds of clients. They either come to me and everything is on fire, they're drowning, they want to burn it down, they don't know what they're doing, they're stressed out, they just need everything fixed like yesterday. And so then it's like, okay, where's the biggest problems? What are the biggest fires? How do we put them out? How do we build the structure? And then it's like triage and it's like 3-month intensive of just getting that under control and then finding out what the strategy is moving forward. It's just putting out all the fires and gaining some semblance of order. And then I've got the other clients that they don't, nothing's on fire, but they're kind of bumping up like against their capacity. So they're like, they know things can be better. They're super busy. They just can't get past that next step because they've outgrown the systems they have. And so that is like where we get to dig into the strategic work, like what's actually not working and what would make that work and where are we going? So what are the pieces we put in place to step you up to that? And then we can get into like the long-term strategy work. And so and I love being able to do both of those because they are both so much fun. Not for the people that are on fire, but I love putting out those fires. And it's so much fun to see it all come together and watch them transform in 3 months from like I cannot do this to like, holy shit, I might be doing this.
What was like the biggest like story that you've had from like complete mess, everything's on fire to like complete success?
You know what? Almost all of them have their own like trajectory of that in some way. Um, and some don't even come in like huge fires. Sometimes it's just like, I've gotten this far. I'm exhausted. I'm overwhelmed. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And it's just because it's just grown into chaos. And a lot of times it's just not knowing where to start because when you're feeling that overwhelmed, everything feels important. And you try to do everything all at once and then nothing gets done and you're at the same place you were before. But I've done everything from building full operational systems to help get a roofer off the roof and into more of a management role because he ended up with vertigo and could not get up on the roof. So we had to build quoting systems, service systems, all this stuff because he basically was the business. And then all of a sudden he couldn't get up there and he couldn't make money. So we had to build all the systems so he could bring on team members and bring on a manager. And then he ended up splitting his business into two parts and he put a manager over here and he went over here and did premium gutters because he didn't have to go up on the roof and it was safer and all this stuff. And so he went from, I think I have to get rid of this business, I can't do it, to actually let's split it in two and have two distinct revenue streams and basically double the income. It took time to double the income, obviously, but yeah, he went from thinking he had to shutter his business to now having two very distinct successful businesses. Trades are fun
Did
to work in.
did he basically go from like, just being like a contractor, he's just an independent contractor out there to being like more business owner like he had more entrepreneurial like skills built up after working with you?
Honestly, he had all the entrepreneurial skills to begin with. Like he'd been in business actually longer than most of the clients I work with. It was just
Right.
that he had gone through such a rough and bumpy time. His wife was diagnosed with some pretty serious health conditions, and so he's splitting his time between helping her and work. And so he had like a really rough couple of years where he kind of lost his spark as well. And so he wasn't doing all the same business building things he did earlier and he was just he was surviving and not well. He wasn't enjoying the survival piece of it. And so it was really trying to figure out how to make this work for him and where we could find the pieces. And then once we started getting the pieces in place and fixing where he felt all the problems were and all the pressure was coming from, he started to come back out. And then you could see that entrepreneurial side of him coming out. And he had these great marketing ideas and he had these great, like he knew what the next priorities were. It was just, he was so overwhelmed and buried. He could not see the light until we like just lifted some of that pressure off of him and that spark came back. He was a whole new person by the time we were done. And it was incredible to see. And he put in so much work for that. I was worried about where it was going to go at the start because he was so disenchanted. And then by the end, I was like, I have zero worries.
That's amazing. Like just to see somebody like get a
Mhm.
little bit of help and just grow into the person that they were. They just had a lot of things that they were juggling, and that'll put somebody down enough to where they
It
kind of
really
lose
will.
themselves.
Completely. Again, business is fucking hard. There's no
Oh,
easy way about it.
well, if it was
And
easy, everyone would do it.
right, there's a reason why so many businesses don't make it past that fifth year. Like shit's hard. And
Mhm.
like you will have some of your highest highs followed by some of your lowest lows and sometimes it's the same goddamn day. And like it's a roller coaster. There's like it's a lot, but yet I swear we become like adrenaline junkies and we're just gonna do it, we're already in it, pull the ripcord, like let's go. We're
Well, I think a
crazy.
good business owner, somebody who really wants to build something, gets high off the risk, right? There's a little high off the risk. It just makes you feel good. You're taking it, you're going for it because
Mhm.
that's what it takes to grow something anyway. So I mean, it's a gamble every time, but like to have that like in you to where it excites you, it doesn't scare you, is such a game changer.
Oh, totally. And so I have an almost 7-year-old. And so we're working on doing things brave and scared at the same time. I literally tell the same things to my clients. Well, yeah, if you're not a little bit scared, you're not entrepreneuring. Like, again, risk is in the definition. And like, and why the risk gets us going so much is because when it pays off, it's like, yes. And even when it doesn't, if once we lick our wounds, if we can take the learning out of it, the next one's going to be like exponentially better. And you know it. We learn so much better by crashing and burning than we do by getting it right.
We learn in those lessons. So like
Hmm.
everything, I feel like everything happens for a reason. Just to not even just in
Yeah.
business, but like in your personal life. You'll see things that repeat if you don't learn the lesson. That's you're getting that lesson
Hmm.
for a reason. And when you start to look at the like negative things that happen to you as lessons versus like a victim mentality, it's changes everything. It changes everything. So the same thing
Does.
goes in business. You're not going to learn if you don't make some mistakes or if things don't
Hmm.
happen because you don't know that that's even a possibility until it happens.
Exactly. Like, there are so many things we cannot foresee. Like, one of the things that people hated the most when I was working with business plans, because I work for some contracts, some government contracts where I help people develop their business plans for startups. Um, and one of the things I hate the most is like the SWOT analysis, because it's your strengths and weaknesses, and those are internal, and then your opportunities and threats, and those are external. And they're like, well, I don't know what the threats are. And because it's true, no one saw like COVID on their bingo card that year. No one picked that as a threat, but it ended up being a threat to business. And so it's, you can't foresee everything. But again, this is where having solid systems allow you to weather that storm when it happens, because those things are still happening, whether you're doing them or not, or they're so simplified that you can do them even when all hell's breaking loose over here, because 5 minutes over here means everyone gets paid because payroll's done, because that's the system. And really solid systems will help carry you through the storms that come, because again, they are happening on autopilot, but you have the capacity to face this storm and handle the things as they come and work that all out while everything else is chugging along in the background. Yes, there's going to be some things that are not being proactively done, but once the mess is handled, you go back and everything's just waiting for you. And it just takes that, it takes out the mental trash, some of the mental trash.
And I mean, even with a system in place, things can go wrong.
Mhm.
That happens.
Totally.
Sometimes businesses
Totally.
change and you have to adjust the system. And like, that's okay too.
Hmm.
They have to be like open to these small little changes kind of all the time, really. We have to be able to adjust.
That's exactly. Your business is going to grow and evolve. And so your systems have to too. And they'll start to tell you when they need adjusting, because all of a sudden it won't be as smooth as before. Or all of a sudden it'll be like that's weird. It never used to do that. Well, that's your first red flag that that system is squeaking and it's going to need some attention at some point. It's not going to break catastrophically, but it's going to get progressively more annoying until dealt with. And then as those systems grow and you fix the one that's squeaking, because everything in your business is interconnected, that's going to ripple out. And sometimes over the next few days or couple weeks, it's like, oh, now I have to adjust that system because that one did this. And so when we go really deep on building systems, we'll include, and don't picture a crazy spider web, but almost like a systems map. So if there's specific systems, we tie them to which ones rely on them and which ones does this rely on to work. So then if any of those get touched, these are the subsequent systems that need to be looked at to make sure nothing's changing. And then so when the systems change, it's easier to go back and find them instead of being like, oh, that's what's broken. So let's go fix that. So it makes it easier.
Do you make like kind of like a flow chart that kind of shows them that? Or is this just kind of a visual that you were just using for that example?
So I keep my shit so simple that people are like, what? So, like, I remember working in like a corporate job and I had like an SOP manual that was like a 4-inch binder and it was pages and pages and pages of shit. And then anytime something updated, you had to print more and put it in and all. It was just stupid. So I do everything in Google Docs. And so depending on the business, it might be one Google Doc for administrative systems and one for marketing systems and one for operational systems. Or if it's a smaller business with like a solopreneur or just like a couple people, it could be one Google Doc with just different tabs for the different areas. And so it's all in one place. I make them label it all uniformly because I like simple and systems. And then I just make everything like hyperlinked within it. So if there's an administrative system, like say payroll, so you need time card. And so that depends on the employee getting it here. And then it has to go to accounting and then they have to do their. So I'll hyperlink it so you can see what systems come after the system you're looking at and what systems would come before. So if there's something here that's changing, all the places you need to go check. But it's all super simple. And I've had people take it and put it on letterhead and print it. That's fine. You can go ahead and beautify your systems as much as you want. Mine live in a Google Doc because that is the only place I care to work on them. And they don't need to be pretty to work.
Yeah, and I mean, you kind of want like something simple anyways, because if you're going to adjust a system, you want to be able to update it pretty easy. You don't want the time to be in redoing an entire document.
Exactly. And now with things like Scribe, if you have something complicated, Scribe is just an app where you turn it on and then you click yourself through whatever system you're doing and then it spits it out for you and you do some adjustments, and it'll bring in screenshots and things like that. Like it's so easy to build out these systems. They just need to be worked. The system works if you work the system. And like, because you'll see people build systems and then not use them and be like, my systems aren't working. Well, it's because you're not using them. So they can't.
And like you mentioned, so the EOS system. So actually the company that I work for an accounting and money management firm, and they actually use that system. Something I struggle with is like some of the stuff's too corporate for the size of the business, I think, personally. Not my place to say anything, but that's how I feel about it. I know that they want to eventually grow it to the point where that makes sense, but in the beginning, I don't know that it makes sense. What are your like total thoughts on the EOS system and how that differs from like what you do?
Yeah. And again, like you can see the power behind the EOS system. Like it's not one of the leading systems for no reason. There's research and a lot of years and a lot of work behind it, but you're right. It's more structured for a certain size, certain type of business, which is great for those businesses. Anyone else, they're trying to fit into a system or a structure that wasn't built for their business. And with small business owners, these businesses are so unique. They're as unique as their business owners. And so while everyone's struggles all follow the same main themes, they're very, very unique to the business, the phase the business is in, and what the priorities of the business owner are. So like I can come in and tell someone how to fix what they think is going wrong in their business. I can give them best practices and tell them all the ways to run a successful business. I have read enough books. I can tell you the tactics. But that doesn't mean it's going to work for them or the way they work or align with how they like to do things, or it's going to fit into their current systems. It's so much easier to meet them exactly where they are and be like, what's going on? Where are you spending your time? And what needs to change? Like, when they get to decide what gets fixed first, their experience changes faster because they're not just going to think of what's going to build the business. It's like, what is killing me right now? What is suffocating me? Let's remove that. Oh my God, this is a little bit easier. Okay, what's the next thorn in your side? Okay, let's remove that. It's a choose your own adventure. The end goal is always whatever it is they choose. And we're always going in that direction. But the path we take to get there is very personal based on exactly what is going to be most beneficial to them. And sometimes that order doesn't make sense to me, but it's not my business. It's not my brain. I wouldn't want them going up in my brain and being like, what the fuck is she doing? because it's chaos. So it's their chaos. I just help them organize it.
It's organized chaos.
All day, every day. It's all I do.
Me too.
Yeah,
But not for work. It's just my own chaos.
I was talking with my coach yesterday, and I said something, and we were just making jokes, and because I I'm very strategic out here because I have a very gross and dirty life. And I told her, I was like, I only fall in shit on the days I full shower. And she's like, isn't that always the way? And it's like, that's a metaphor for out here. Like, I will be in tip top shape and I will be completely covered in shit and have to start over anyway. So, why put that much pressure on things?
Just keep it relaxed. I actually had a client call today just to do like a quick, had a question or something, right? And I answered the phone and I apparently don't sound relaxed most of the time because he's like, you sound really relaxed today. I was like, I kind of am. I don't know why, but I kind of am. It's just those weird little moments. Like you're just like, okay, it's one of those days, you know?
Yeah.
Whether it's chaos and poop all over you or maybe you're just having a okay day.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know what's going to go on. Keeps it all interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Most of it.
If you can find good in everything. Let's put it
Yeah,
that
you
way.
can. You really can. And some days you need to.
Some days you got to look real hard and find it.
Real hard. It's like, cool, the sun came up today. Score.
I freaking got out of bed today. That is fine.
Yep. And some days that can count as good enough.
It can. It can.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have like a certain client story that like you just were like you love telling or it kind of just really sat with you or maybe it was just like one of those clients that like you're like, wow, I'm really making a difference, you know? I don't know, it excited you in some way.
So I have that with most of my clients. So one of like my superpowers is just like I'm a perpetual cheerleader. And when I get really excited about what people are doing in their business, like I drink the Kool-Aid, I go full bore, I am so invested in their business. Most of my clients become really close personal friends. And like I cannot be this invested in your business and not continue following it. Like sorry, you can't get rid of me. Like I'm now in your orbit and I'm taking not ownership, but I'm taking very high peak interest into your business and your journey and your success because I only work with people that work really, really hard and are really ambitious and are doing the work. And again, I've said this a million times, business is hard. You need good business friends around you because the people in your life that get a paycheck don't get it. They'll be supportive. They'll be in your corner. They'll give you a good thumbs up and they'll be like, you're doing great. It's like, I know I'm doing great, but the shit's really fucking hard and I need to bitch about it and I need someone to understand. And you don't because you know where your paycheck's coming from next Friday. And so when I see these entrepreneurs working so hard and pouring their entire livelihood into building these businesses, all of their stories are my favorite. Like seeing where they are at the start and seeing their confidence build throughout it. If I started telling client stories, we'd be here for 4 days. Like my clients work so hard and I get so excited about it to the point where I can't do client calls back to back because I get so fired up. I have to decompress because I can't come into my next client call being like, let's go. It's like, let's see where they're at before I let this out. And I get so amped up about what my clients are doing and even the hard stuff, because sometimes you just like, there's going to be hard stuff. There's no way around it. And sometimes you just need to be able to name it, tame it, talk through it and build a plan. Like it doesn't mean it's going to be fixed right away, but they have a plan. They're picking themselves up because they're resilient and they're just going to keep going because that's what they've decided to do. And those are the only kind of people I'll work with because if you're not going to show up and do the work, I cannot care more about your business than you do. And I will refund your money and wish you good luck. Like I cannot. I cannot. You either become one of my favorite clients or you don't get to be a client.
And speaking of that, so like that's something like I feel like comes with like starting the business and working with people and figuring out, kind of who works and who doesn't, right? Like when I
Hmm.
first started coaching, I basically, would work with anyone, right? I in the gym, outside the gym, whatever, anyone. And now I'm at the point where like I'm not working with certain people. Like I
Hmm.
need certain clients. I have like almost my inner checklist, right? When it comes to a client, just like
Yeah.
the client should have in me. And which is fine. I think a lot of people think that you should be a one size fits all for everything, and I don't think that's true. I think that's the same with like friends, right? Like I don't want to
Hmm.
be friends with people that don't mesh well with me because that's not fair to them and that's not fair to me. Why should we force a friendship that's just not meant to happen? And that's the same thing with the business. So when it what stage of your business did you start to realize like these are my people, these are not so much my people?
And like you said, it's a process. At the beginning, it's like, hey, I'm in business. Businesses have to make money. How do I do that? And you learn real fast that shit work really sucks, but it will pay the bills sometimes. And then it it's literally like a rite of passage. You have to figure it out. So I started writing business plans and I'm a nerd. I love the research. I like the spreadsheets. I like proving viability. It's like a hypothesis. And it's like now the business concept is the hypothesis. And then we're just going to prove viability by doing the research and mapping out this business plan. And I loved it, which was great because most people hate it. So I made some money. And then I was working with some government contract programs that were providing coaching to small business owners at no cost to them. So it was paid through the nonprofits that were federally funded. And then I got to work with startup business owners that didn't have the funds to pay me themselves. So that was great because, again, I have someone giving me work, I'm making some money. And because it was such a variety, I got to learn what I liked, what I didn't like, who was going to show up and do the work, who was not. Because when they're not paying it, um, it totally changes how they show up sometimes. But the people that really took advantage of it, like again, I bring my favorite clients with me, like they're still with me, and so I learned a lot through that. And then I got a chance to work with another one that allowed me to do a ton of coaching throughout COVID, um, supporting just female business owners through the shutdowns and the pivots and all the things we went through during COVID of what they were going to do with their business. So over 3 years, I coached 300 women just on demand, throughout that. And that's when I was like, oh God, they need way more than a business plan to make this like viable. And then right around that time, I got the opportunity to take my systems training. And that it was like everything aligned with my business planning and development side. And then putting this into place, it was like, this is everything they need to be successful. And then once I took the learning there with the learning from the contract work, now I can tell pretty quick who's going to do the work, who's going to be awesome to be around, who has the grit to pick themselves up when it really fucking sucks and keep going. Not everyone has it. Business is not for everyone and it's not for the faint of heart. But 5 years in, I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on who's gonna do it and who's gonna be good at it. But I would say it was about a year and a half to 2 years ago where I actually got to cut out the last of the shit. And so now I have no names on my calendar. I'm like, ugh, every single name that's on my calendar, I'm excited about. And again, the rite of passage, I worked my ass off and I fucking earned the good names that are on my calendar. And I'm going to keep it that way. But yeah, it's a long haul and there's a lot of shit work to do. But again, you learn through it. And even some of the shit work, like I shouldn't even just classify it all like that. I learned so much through it.
It's again back to those lessons. Like we have to learn them.
Mhm.
You can't just skip the 10 steps. You know what I mean? Like
No.
you have to learn it in one way, shape, or form. Like it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do years of, you know, crap work just just to learn it. Like you can learn it quicker. It just depends on how
Hmm.
open you are to paying attention to the things around you while you're building a business.
Exactly. And also not building it in a vacuum. I tried when we first moved out to the farm, my business was young, like a year and a half in, and I was pretty isolated when we were out here. I had a toddler. It was still peak COVID. My husband was working out of town, and I was trying to figure out how to build a business like in a vacuum because I'm an only child and I'm a stubborn, independent woman who can't ask for help for anything because I can figure this out. No, I can't. No, I can't. And so I finally realized that and did some, self reflection and found my weak spots. And then I supported myself there with very amazing people for each of those sections. And it made all the difference because I wasn't doing it by myself, pretending I knew what I was doing. I didn't. I still don't. But now I've got people that can be like, maybe let's do it this way. Might be a bit better. It's like, cool. Thank you, friend.
Well, like we're not meant to know everything. We're meant to work
No.
with others. And why not work with others who know what they're doing on the things that you don't know what you're doing? It's okay to sit back and be like, I don't know, you're the expert. I mean, I don't sit
Hmm.
in my hairstylist seat and say, oh, I want you to do this specific thing because of this, this, and this. No, I sit down and I say, this is kind of what I want. And I let her do her thing because she isn't going to make you look dumb and she's going to do what's healthy for your hair, right? Like, no different than
Hmm.
like hiring a coach for certain business items that you don't understand. I'm not going to go do my own taxes because I don't know how to do my own taxes.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's okay. Uh one of my closest friends is an accountant, and at one point I was like, I need to pay you to sit down with me because I don't know what I'm doing. And she's like, okay. And we sat down and she walked me through. We built my systems and I took care of it. I could have spent months fucking it all up and doing it on my own and thinking I could do it. But I went to her and I was like, I'm going to screw this up. Can you help me? And it's all good. A simple question and a 1 hour accounting fee worth its weight in gold.
100%. Is it more worth just paying the fee and getting the right help with the right person? Or is it worth spending hours of your time messing something up over and over again before you realize that you should have just paid for it in the first place and not wasted all that time? Because I think something people lose too is they see a dollar sign when it comes to getting help.
Yeah,
And they don't see the extra hours that they spend on something and they don't value their time. Like my time is worth paying 100, 150, $200 an hour for something like that because I value how much my time can be spent somewhere else.
exactly. That is so bang on. And we don't look at it that way sometimes. I think the way where I learned that it actually stuck, I might have learned it but not let it stick before this, was eventually I was like, I have to have a website. Like I was doing fine on the referral side, word of mouth. I was about to start networking heavily in the major center near us because you need business. Like
Yeah.
I have to market. And so I was like, before I start networking, I want a website. I need to look professional. I want my business cards. And so I started working on my website. I paid for it, paid for hosting, like paid up front, all this. 6 months later, I was still trying to design it and get it up because turns out this brain is made for documents and spreadsheets. I don't make anything pretty. I am simple. I don't do pretty in any way. And that's a problem when you're building a website. And so after 6 months, I'm paying for this. I finally stopped torturing myself. I found a contractor for less than $500. They took the copy I already had and made a beautiful website in a week and a half. I spent 6 months. And that's when I was like, 6 months, $500, plus the $500 I spent on hosting it to have a website for half a year when I could. Yeah, it was like, that was when I was like, okay, this is a lesson right here. And since then, I do not do things that are outside of my wheelhouse if they're going to take longer than like 5 minutes. Like I now know what is worth my time and what is not worth my time. And mainly out of a frustration thing. I'm not saying these jobs are beneath me. They are just not, I can't do them. My brain doesn't.
And like there's some things that are for people and there's some things that aren't, right? Like
Hmm.
creativity on that side is not your thing. You're more
No.
systems and spreadsheets. So it doesn't
Yes.
make sense for you to design something. You know what I mean? Like it
Hmm.
just doesn't make sense. Or
Yeah.
I'm not going to go get under my car and change my oil. Like that's just not my thing. You know what I mean? I mean, I can do it. I'm quite capable. I could watch a YouTube video and figure it out, but why would I do that?
Yeah. Or you can just go spend $60 at Lube City and get it done.
Yeah.
Like, that's worth my
And
time. I'll sit and doom scroll while you fix my car and I'm on my way.
1,000%. I can bring my laptop and work while they're doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, exactly. And so, like, being a business owner and with all the things going on, yesterday was such a busy day. And I found myself sitting in like the school pickup line and I was just like, oh, like, finally had a chance to like breathe and decompress. And it's like, oh, I didn't do any of like, I haven't been on LinkedIn today. I haven't done any engagement. And I'm just like, I have 7 uninterrupted minutes before that kid comes running out of that school. So I'm sitting on my phone and I'm just like, I'm checking stuff off my list. And it just, whatever works, works. And having a good system is just a great way to ensure things keep moving forward. I'm probably going to do all of my LinkedIn engagement from the school pickup line now because before I was just doom scrolling anyway. So why not do something else? Because it wasn't fitting in where I wanted it in my day anyways. I kept moving it around. So I was like, there's something here.
Yeah, and you just have to find the place for it. And I mean, you're back to your like systems. So you need that in your everyday life too, right? It's not just work. So we need
Hmm.
certain systems to make sure things that flow right. You have more than just your business. You have a whole farm that you take care of. You have a
Yeah.
child that you take care of. You have a husband that you have to take care of. I say take care of, but you know what I mean. Like you have to take care of that relationship. You have to take care of each other.
Mm.
And like that's another thing just on your list. And if there's not systems in place to, have a date night or have quality time or spend time with your daughter or teach your daughter things or take care of the animals on the farm or all the other chores and stuff that you got to do, because that last podcast really assured me that's not my life. Um, um, but you have so much going on, and I think that's for everyone. And I think a lot of people forget that just because people have like this one thing in their life doesn't mean that they don't have, four or five other things going on. And having systems in place to be able to juggle all that is so important, because having a work-life balance that's a myth. It's a myth. It's impossible.
Mhm.
You will never have a work-life balance. Like that's just never going to happen. You have to balance and prioritize what you have where you can.
Exactly. Because it'll never be equally balanced. It's just not possible. And so I call it integration because integrations are supposed to make things work well together. So some days the farm's going to take more out of me than the business. And sometimes the business is going to take more out of me than the farm. And sometimes the kid's going to take more out of me than everything else. And it is the way it is. But I've got systems within the business. So like she was sick Monday, Tuesday this week. So things kind of changed a little bit, but my systems held. Like nothing was catastrophic. And same with the farm. Like there's the systems and it changes. Like just the other day, our yearling heifers just arrived. So these are the baby girl cows. They're like 6 months old
Oh.
and they're all floofy. They just came the other day. Um, which means now our chore rotation has to change because now there's one more stop on the morning and evening chores. So it's like a quick discussion between the two of us because depending who's doing what, like he'll take morning chores, I'll take evening, or like we just split it up however fits within our days. Cause when he's home and I work from home. So when I'm home, I'm home slash working slash momming slash I'm doing all the things. So we divvy it up like according to whoever's doing what. But yeah, it's a quick conversation of okay, this is going on. So now this has to be added right in here. So between feeding the sheep, feeding the chickens, you go check on the cows, check on the cats, you're done the loop. But the systems change and evolve every time something new happens. And we just have to change and evolve with it,
No matter what system that is, whether that's home,
no
work,
matter what system.
whatever. Yeah, there's always a change, but having those in place is a good base. You have to have a base to work
Hmm.
with because if you don't know what the system is or the system doesn't exist, then what are you following? Like, how do you even keep track? You wonder
Exactly.
why you're spinning your wheels all the time, not getting anything accomplished. Like, that's because there's no system in place.
Exactly. And that's when things fall through the cracks. And when things start falling through the cracks, like if it's just internal facing, that's fine. It's easy to fix. But if those things that are falling through the cracks are client facing, it's going to be affecting your client experience. It's going to be affecting your reputation, which will eventually affect your cash flow if you don't take care of it. So again, it's all connected and it has to be thought of as such.
We just wouldn't survive without systems. I just don't know why we
No.
like. I mean, it's even built into our society, right? Like, there's a system to get your driver's license. There's a system to buy a car, buy a house.
Mhm.
There's a system in everything that we do on a regular basis to get that loan. There's a system in place that there's all these things that we have to do. So why aren't we adding, if they work so well within our society? I know everything has problems, right? we
Yes.
can't always say the DMV is like the best thing, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm just like, if those all work and they have to have systems in place, I just don't know where people think that you don't need systems to make other things work, such as a business, such as like home life, such as balance and just having, and I say balance, and I guess you said,
Mhm.
how did you phrase it? Integration.
Integration.
Yes, yeah. More that than balance. But you have to have those to even have things flow together as they should. Otherwise, things happen and now you're only working, you're not paying attention to anything at home. The kids are feeling
Mhm.
neglected, the spouse is feeling neglected, the house hasn't been cleaned in weeks, and like that's all things that fall apart because you've only focused on one thing because you don't have a system in place to give you something to where all this merges together.
That's exactly it. And like you already have systems, whether you want to admit it or not. Like the way things are happening is your current system. And so if you like the way things are happening, great. But if you documented it, it's going to go even better because, again, repeatable. If you dislike the results you're getting, this is your chance to figure out what part of the system isn't working. And it's not like another reason people don't like talking systems or like they glaze over it's like oh systems, it's because it's like this big overwhelming thing and it so are business plans, which is why I love the things I love because I'm just like it's not as scary, you guys. I promise you it's not as scary as like you think it is. All we have to do is bring the awareness around what's already happening, and then once you see what's already happening, it's very easy to point out where it can improve, streamline, be just gotten rid of, because sometimes we have really dumb things going on that don't need to happen and we don't realize it until we like put it on paper to be like why am I doing this, and it's just bringing the awareness around it and then focusing on the pieces that work or that need adjusting or that could work better. And it doesn't have to be a huge stressful undertaking. Like again, everything is consistency. Like consistent steps over one intensive workday is going to get you so much further. So it doesn't have to be the big scary thing. It just has to be a small commitment of time that really turns into be an investment in the future of your business.
And I think it's calming too. Like, once the system's in place, you won't believe the amount of stress it can relieve.
Yes. And it takes time. But as it works, it's all of a sudden it's like, oh. And then like all of a sudden you've got a little bit more time left. And you're like, oh. Or you're being like, okay, what are all my priorities? And you start like dumping them down and you're just like, but that list is shorter than usual because there's no fires and the other things are taken care of. So it's like, okay, so I'm going to get these things done. And then I have these strategic things to do. And oh shit, you mean I can take Friday afternoon off? Cool. I'm out of here. Like it doesn't mean that just because you're on top of your to-do list and things are happening, it doesn't mean you have to capitalize and work even harder. Like it can be like, this is why I went into business. I'm going to work 20 hours this week and I'm going to make full-time wage and I'm going to enjoy my life outside of work, because as much as I love my work, I didn't buy a farm to sit inside all day.
Well, and two, I mean, you have a point, right? Where like you have a choice now. You have choices.
Mhm.
You have a choice to keep growing your business. Maybe you spend that extra time and you keep growing it, or maybe you take that and you put it into something else. Like for you, going out on your farm, or maybe spending more time with family, going on trips. There's so many options at that point, instead of just feeling like you're in this never-ending cycle of life that just is work, sleep, work, sleep.
Exactly. And so many people go into business thinking it's going to be easier than having a job, or that they're going to have all this freedom and flexibility because they work for themselves. And that doesn't happen off the hop. Like, that doesn't happen by accident. You have to build it to give you the freedom and flexibility. I didn't have a lot of freedom and flexibility in the start because I was not thinking strategically enough about how I was running the business. But yeah, if you want freedom and flexibility, you have to build that in. No one's going to come and be like, hey, you deserve some freedom and flexibility in there. Like, you should put some over there. Like, I will if I come up to people, but no one's going to come save you. You have to do it yourself, especially in business.
Yeah. And like what it is so you go into this wanting to be free and have all this flexibility, but what you don't realize is what you're asking for. When you're asking for somebody to give that to you, you're asking for a job. You're asking for the boss that lets you go 10 minutes early. You're asking
Hmm.
for the vacation time that you're given at the job, so you have this freedom to take this time off. That's not given to you lightly when building a business. And typically it takes years when you're building a business to even get a little bit of time off.
Hmm. That's exactly it. And that's the reality for so many like solopreneurs or service providers. And that can be hard. Like, I remember coming into like Christmas, even this year, and I've got some decent systems. I was feeling the burnout coming into the holidays. I was exhausted. I crashed and burned for 2 weeks. It was glorious. I didn't even know where my laptop was. It was beautiful. But like, business is hard, and it can be really exhausting. But at the same time, I was able to plan to have 2 full weeks of nothingness. I still paid myself a paycheck. I didn't meet clients. I might have responded to like 3 emails, and those were more to friends than anything. And like, you can plan for that. Actually, one of my clients, we set up like a whole plan for her to be strategically saving money because, as well, in Canada, we get a year of maternity leave, up to 18 months now, actually. But as an entrepreneur or a small business owner, you don't have access to that. So we set her up with a savings plan. So if she chooses to have a baby with her partner, she can have less pressure to re-enter. She probably won't take a full year. She loves what she does, but this way she'll have a nest egg, so there's no pressure on it, and it will not affect her livelihood as she enjoys that fresh little space and figuring out what a new family unit looks like and staging her return to work with no pressure. Like, that's the freedom and flexibility we build in. The clients I work with aren't looking for like penthouses and yachts. They're looking for a life that they love and work that they love that can support that life.
I think
Like,
that's most people, right? Most people are
hmm,
just looking for realistic situations. They're just trying to better their overall quality of life. It's not everyone's dream to have a yacht or a mansion or, the most expensive car.
hmm,
It's just really most people just want a better quality of life. They want flexibility. They want to not worry so much about paying bills this month, living paycheck to paycheck. They want to be able to spend time with their family. Like those are all normal, realistic goals.
and it's changed. Like, the way we work has changed. Everyone used to like my parents, they're boomers. They work towards retirement and they're enjoying their retirement. They're having a great time, but the landscape looks different for us. My husband and I are both self-employed. It's like we don't get a pension at 65, and we've also we're middle age. We're seeing like we're seeing mortality out of people like our parents' age and stuff like that, and seeing how quickly
Mhm.
that can come. And it's like, why would we wait until we were retired to do the fun stuff? Why would we wait until we were retired to enjoy our life? Like, why can't we do that the whole way along? Retirement isn't guaranteed, life isn't guaranteed. And I kind of love what I do. So I still have lots of time, but I have no plans to retire. I could do this till the day I die. I might do it less, I might do it differently, but I love what I do. I'm not working to retire. I'm working because well, I have bills to pay, but I'm also doing something I absolutely love. So it's not that hard of a stretch to be like, I'm not going to go play with farm animals. I'm going to go meet with some awesome clients and then I'll go play with farm animals. Like, I doing the fun stuff now.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of people do that, right? They wait and then they're in their 50s and 60s and like now well, actually here's a good example. My husband's grandpa is in his 80s. He's early 80s. And he's had trouble traveling and stuff like that, but he's waited to spend money and do those things until he was too old to be able to do them comfortably. So now they like planned, this is I don't know, a year or two ago, but they planned a cruise and then they had to cancel it because he just wasn't feeling up to traveling. You know what I mean? So like if you wait too long, you might not get to experience life, or like you said, life isn't promised. Tomorrow is not promised. So if you want to do something, make the time to do it while you're young, you're capable. Even if it's a little bit of a stretch, like plan, put your system in place, right?
Mhm.
And then
Um,
do those things.
yeah, you can always make more money, but you will never get more time.
No.
And like, we I lost my last grandparent last November, so like a year and a bit ago. And so that was my dad's mom, and it hit my parents and like we also have other family members getting older, like as we all do. It really lit a fire into my parents to use it before they lose it. Because all of their friends, like they've been to Portugal twice in the past 2 years. They've got a cruise coming. Like they are being retired boomers in the kindest way. I'm not being mean to my boomer parents. I love my parents, but they're booming all over the world and they are enjoying it. They're having so much fun. They spend so much time here and with my kid, but they are doing all the things because my mom's like, one day we're going to slow down. Like, mobility is not always going to be available to us. So let's do this all now. So when the mobility slows, we can be like, yeah, okay, we'll slow down. We've done lots of stuff. And so that's it. They've been traveling fast and furious because there's things they want to do and they want to do it while they still can and while they can still enjoy it. And I love that because my parents worked their asses off and I saw them work so hard for their retirement. Like, I'm glad they're enjoying it and I'm glad they're not just like sitting on it.
Yeah.
And because yeah, I don't want them to have any regrets for not doing these things. It's so cool. And they bring us back the fun stuff and they it's great.
Well, and like you don't want to leave this world with regrets, right?
Mhm.
We we should never feel like we're regretting not doing something because we were too scared to do it or we said we couldn't do it, because there's no such thing as you can't do it. There's just how much are you going to hold yourself back from trying.
Yeah. Whether you think you can or you can't, you are most likely right.
Right. Yeah, it's up to you on what you're capable of. I mean,
Exactly.
you can do much more than you think. It's no different than going to the gym. I guarantee most people in the gym can lift more than they lift. It's more mental than anything.
Exactly. And just like the gym, you're going to get more results with smaller, consistent steps than an 8 hour gym session. You're going to be crippled after that 8 hour gym
1000%.
session, and you're probably not going to go back for like 6 months. Uh, but if you do the slow and steady in 6 months, you're going to feel stronger. You're going to look good. Like, nothing happens overnight.
Well, and it's
That's,
consistency, right? Like with anything,
yeah.
anything you do, the more, whether you're doing it in like little doses or you want to do big chunks every day, but you have to be consistent. And being consistent in a 2 hour workout every single day is that's just not possible. but I can guarantee everyone has at least 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
There's at least 20 minutes you can at least go for a walk, right? You can do some type of activity in your day for 20 minutes. That's something everyone can commit to on a daily basis with, no
And if they say
negotiations.
they can't, I'd be like, your smartphone begs to differ.
Yeah, or
It will
your
tell you
TV
exactly.
or
Yeah.
yeah, I can guarantee you can move. And like I mean
Yeah.
things like that. Like I'm able to use my walking pad if I can't get to the gym while I'm working. You know what I mean? So there
Hmm.
there are options to be able to do it. It's just where you decide to put the system in place to be able to be consistent and having that having that consistency over a period of time is going to make a bigger difference than having, these big hard sessions every single day. And I think where
Hmm.
people get hung up on like you said, like an 8 hour workout or like even just a 2 hours. A 2 hour is a lot. That's extreme. I
Hmm.
I catch myself sometimes working out too long. And but and most of that's just because I'm enjoying the workout and I just keep going.
Hmm.
But either way, it's not realistic to be able to do that every single day, and you're getting less out of doing a 2 hour workout for 3 days and then stopping for four because either you're super sore, you're burnout, you ran out of time because now you're behind on everything else because the extra hour that you spent at the gym every single day added up. Like all of those things kind of play in together, but just 20 minutes every single day, that little chunk of your 24-hour day,
Hmm.
that's realistic.
Absolutely. And also planning for your least motivated self, because we don't show up as rock stars every day. I might have
Oh
like
no.
one or two rock star days a quarter. I don't know. Not a lot. But on the days where you're super busy, your hair straight back, maybe you're tired, or we're women, cycle things, like any of those things, if you can plan for your least motivated self, then the days that you're like moderately motivated, you're already ahead of the game. I always keep like
Yeah.
a shit list of just like 5 minute tasks. So on those days where I'm just like, I just need to move the needle, but I have no capacity for anything big, it's like cross off two or three little tasks. It's like success, walk away.
Something is better than nothing, and consistency doesn't mean a straight line, right? We're not a straight
No.
line, just
Mm-mm.
it's literally a roller coaster. It's up and it's down and it's up and it's down, but you're still
Oh
moving
boy, is it
forward.
ever. Yes. Yes. Sometimes you're squirreling out in left field, but you'll get back on track.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some circles, but
Yeah. Definitely
it's
not
still moving
linear.
forward. You're still heading
Yes.
in the direction.
Exactly. A little, it's like the GPS, a little recalculation, you're back on track.
Which is quite okay. That's what makes us human.
Exactly. And sometimes those little side quests can be really fun.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Okay. Well, I think me and you could talk for like 2 more hours. we should,
Probably. This was
we should, we
fun.
should, we should probably round it out. Do you want to leave like like a business, kind of tip or anything with systems, or maybe even just kind of give an idea of where to find you if somebody's listening that does have a business that's looking like they need something, but they just don't know what it is, and it's most likely a system?
Yeah, and that's it. With a business, it's systems all the way down, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. But yeah, so I hang out mostly on LinkedIn. Um, I'm in there sharing business insights, ridiculous farm stories, and sometimes cute animal pictures because apparently people on LinkedIn like my cute little animals. And then there's more information on my website, which is just michellemacneil.com, about what I mean by systems, the work we do together, an overview of kind of the different pieces I work with clients on. And then for someone who's like, maybe something needs to change, I don't know what it is, I've got a quiz on there that will help you figure out what your biggest systems problem is right now. And then I also have a weekly email I send out that tackles business, farms, systems. Like it's a fun little insight into my world tied in with all these business lessons. And so those are the best places to find out more about what I do and how I operate. And we're coming into spring, so there's going to be some real cute farm animals happening. So, like, it would be beneficial to follow some of this. Even if you don't have a business in systems, like, who doesn't love baby animals in the spring?
I mean, you might just have to add me to your newsletter.
Can do, because I will be getting a picture of these super cute little cows, and it'll be going out with my next one because, yeah, they are just the floofiest.
Oh my God, yes, I need to see that. And I still need to see a video of the goats doing
Ooh,
zoomies.
yes, the zoomies. Yes, and we're gonna have some bottle lambs this spring too, so we'll have fresh zoomies. Yes, I will give you all the farm spam because it's so much fun. I actually have plans to mix in more farm spam with my business stuff, but that's coming next quarter.
I love that. I love that. Because, like you said, who doesn't love cute animals?
Yeah,
I don't want to feed them and take care of them, but I love cute animals.
exactly. Especially like it's a farm. Shit stinks out here sometimes. To get the ambiance without the smell, like it's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll keep it that way. I remember
Yeah,
growing up as a kid, my mom always told me that I was going to marry a cowboy. I was like, no, I'm definitely not because they stink.
they do.
So I
We're
married a
surrounded
car
by
guy.
farmland. There you go. We're surrounded by like actual like crop farmland, and so they fertilize it, and it's a quick phone call around the neighborhood, like because we all have clotheslines and stuff like that. It's like bring your clothes in. It's gonna stink for 2 days because they literally spray shit for, oh my god, those are the roughest days. It's like 2, 3, 4 days sometimes of just like, ugh, can't open your windows. It's disgusting,
Oh man.
but they grow really good stuff, so we
See,
survive.
that's why I don't live around it, but I love everything that comes from
Yeah.
it.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
There's some lives meant for other people.
Yeah. And again, the things we didn't know when we moved here. And now, like, is it reasonable to move just because it stinks 3 days a year? So we're like, all right, we'll just deal with it.
Well, and
It's
I
a
think
learning
there's
curve.
give and take everywhere you go, no matter what. I
Yes.
live in the city. Obviously, hearing sirens and stuff is not enjoyable.
Yeah.
Or the homeless
We,
people on the street.
exactly.
But it's a give and
We
take for
drove.
how you want to live.
It is. 100%. And we were driving through like a town, not a town, a city close to us, and just like seeing all the houses like packed in there. And it was like, we looked at each other and he was like, I couldn't go back. And I was like, no. Like when you have this much space, like I don't know what we're gonna do. We can't leave.
That's
We
good
can't go
though.
anywhere.
You
Yes,
found where you
we
wanted
don't
to
want
be.
to. We
Yeah.
don't want to go anywhere. It's amazing out here. Um, but yeah. Anyways, we digress.
Yeah. I can't help it. Do you
Oh
have
my
like a
goodness.
piece of advice you'd give business owners too that you want to share?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so many pieces, but my biggest one is business is hard and you don't have to do it alone. My biggest thing is find other business friends. They will be your lifeline when the good, the bad, the ugly happens. You need someone to celebrate with who understands how impactful your business wins are, and you need someone to commiserate with when the shit gets real shitty, because if you don't, you'll burn out and you won't come out of it. Like, business is hard, so support yourself where you need it. That is the biggest thing. Even if you're not going to support yourself with systems, which you should, support yourself with people. Like, don't torture yourself, because then you'll just have a really shitty job with kind of an asshole for a boss.
It's really good advice.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but so true. Well, Michelle, thank you again for coming on Messy on Purpose. I am sure this is probably not going to be the last one we do together because we're just going to have to keep in touch through podcasts. It's just how it's going to have to be.
I hope so. This has been so much fun both times. And yeah, I could talk to you all day long. So we'll have to keep going.
Definitely. If you think of a topic that would be good to talk about, just let me know because I can
Next
talk
time I
about
fall in
pretty
shit,
much
I'll
anything.
let you know.
Oh gosh, yeah. We'll have to jump on. That might be like a spur of the moment one.
It's bound to happen.
All right. Well, thank you again. And until next time, guys. Bye.